Where are we? Right. Oh.
There you go. That's it.
Rachel Barham, FSB.
Welcome to the Chairwood Podcast with me, Simon Burridge.
And me, Rachel Burridge.
Well, this is an unexpected surprise. We was meant to have someone else on. Now we've got Rachel on, FSB.
It's like your second choice, eh?
Yeah. No, you're booked up for later. You're
Yeah.
booked up for July or something like that. I don't
Just
know.
look at it as we've bumped you up the list. We wanted to get to know you a bit more, so we bumped you up the list a bit more.
But you were right
Quicker.
first time.
Flattery gets you everywhere.
But you were right first time, mate.
Simon's
Right.
honest, I'm flattering. Here we go.
Exactly.
Right, okay, before we start, how long? Now we've had some issues getting it on the wall, so...
Yeah, and now I know how much tape's on it. I'm going to go 19 minutes and 7 seconds.
I'm just going to go
I couldn't
longer
go
than
76, obviously.
that. I'm going to go longer than that. I don't know why I'm going. It's not even me. It's doing it.
This is my time.
Right, okay.
Today's sponsors
Was
are...
it 19 minutes and what?
7 seconds.
19 minutes and 7 seconds.
Have you even paid attention? What time?
Giorgio Properties, your premier choice for expert building solutions. From concept to completion, trust them to turn your dreams into a reality.
Visit their website today at digiorgiosproperties.com.
De Medici Associates, chartered, structural and civil engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on demediciassociates.com.
And we're back.
Cool.
Thanks, sponsors.
Well, he used to sit there and wait the whole time going, I'm like, you edit this, remember? And he's like, oh yeah, I don't have to wait for the effort.
Right, FSB and
Yes.
Rachel Barham. Tell us about your company, FSB.
I'd love to claim it as my
I
company,
know.
but
We go a bit there.
FSB, the Federation of Small Businesses. Do you want me to go to the long-winded bit?
We've got time.
Keep it short.
We've got time.
Okay. It's a not-for-profit campaigning group. So we lobby government, not me personally, because you really don't need that, on behalf of all self-employed and small businesses in the UK to make sure that government is held accountable to the decisions it makes, but hopefully get them to change some of them before they roll them out and have a negative impact on businesses.
So how can it help businesses then?
So there's a lot of different ways. So one, obviously, the lobbying and the campaigning, because there was loads of support during the pandemic, which got accredited to FSB, and loads of the stuff like VAT thresholds being increased and stuff like that recently. But for members, we also give a package of resources, like a one-stop shop, for all the services that are, I suppose, outside of your expertise. Because in theory, and I say theory, you're an expert in video and photography.
That is very correct.
But it's everything else that you've got to know as a business owner. So the legals, the banking, the insurances,
Yeah.
employment, health and
It's-
safety, the list goes
It's
on.
the background to it, really, that you are not so keyed up on, let's say.
Exactly.
Is that, yeah.
And you can't stay on top of everything. So even when you think you've got to grips with it, legislation changes.
Yep.
And unless you are making sure you are keeping up on all of these different things, you're always going to be on the back foot. So it's giving you a port of call that you can literally pick up the phone, seek the advice and support that you need. A lot of it's for free. And it will save you time and money rather than having to shop round, get the wrong advice, be overcharged, all of this sort of thing. But we're there for the big stuff as well. So we're there to protect you when HMRC comes knocking
Yeah, I
or
was going to say, you
a
told a story.
disgruntled customer or...
You told a story recently about them coming knocking to someone and they managed to get them a lot of more money back or something. Is that right?
Yeah, so I can't obviously guarantee it for everybody.
Well,
but
you should do, really.
yeah, I mean, I could try and blag it, but we had, and bless her, luckily I don't know her name because otherwise I might put my foot in it, but we had a nail bar owner literally call up hysterical because a tax inspector had walked in and basically, not quite so bluntly as I would put it, you owe us $6,500. So, of course, she was panicking, thinking, I haven't got that sort of money. That's going to put me out of business. So she called us up and literally, obviously, we dealt with it, went through the whole case, argued it out with the HMRC. And by the end of it, they actually owed her $12,500.
Oh, my God.
So it's one of them that you just look at and go,
Yeah.
you don't mess with us. But it's because it's for my HMRC
Because
tax
sometimes people don't... We spoke about this before on previous podcasts, but some people just get the bill and just go, oh my God, I've got to pay this. And they panic, don't they? And then they say, okay, how am I going to do this? But with HMRC, they want their money now, but when they give it back to you, it's, we'll do it a little bit at a time. But then when they actually want something for you, it's, we want it now.
Exactly.
Sort of thing. So it's a bit scary as well.
Yeah, well, one of the lines I use when I'm going out and talking to businesses, unlike criminal law, where you're innocent till proven guilty, with the HMRC, you are guilty, now prove you're innocent.
Yeah.
Most people can't. They'll turn around to their accountant and go, what have you done?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm trying not to swear when I've listened to your podcast. But it's because when I'm out pitching to people, I try not to swear. Whereas my instinct is swear.
Say what you want, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those that they'll turn around to their accountant and be like, what the fuck have you been doing? Why haven't you paid this, or what have you done? Yeah. And actually sometimes it's the accountant's fault, obviously, but quite often it's not.
You got to have, the accountant will put anything through that you've put through in a way. A lot of people put food through.
Yeah.
When in theory you can't really put day to day feeding yourself through. If you go away and you're away, you can. But day to day feeding yourself, like if we were to go down and have lunch after this, you can't put that through. But if I was to bring food up, which we do sometimes, bring food up for guests, but you're not important enough, so we didn't bring anything up. I would have brought your cake.
Truth out now.
But if we bring food up for you, you're allowed to claim that because you're having it on the premises of the podcast. It's weird. But you've got to know that knowledge, haven't you?
But as well, it's silly things like when you did your comedy, it was almost like, because you had to get costumes and outfits and props and stuff like that, it's then declaring those, but almost having to...
It's got to be single use, I believe the word is.
It's you can't wear it again.
Yeah.
Or you can't use the props again, which some of the stuff you wouldn't use again. But it's actually proving to them...
talking about your wardrobe.
Yeah.
Isn't she?
Trust me, he's never worn it again. I can hold my hands up to it.
I wore it for another comedy.
But that's again for a comedy.
I had this really shiny gold shirt, and they were saying we'd possibly use that again.
Use that.
I'm sure you've worn that to Synergy before.
I should do.
You should do, yeah. Next face to face.
Yeah, should do.
Well, when's your birthday one? So when's your birthday? But it's proving the fact that you are not going to do this. And like you said, it is proven, and it proves that you're not guilty, sort of thing, which is wrong. It's so wrong.
Exactly. But it's so long-winded because they will literally argue out every minor detail. And if they find one thing, they'll then dig deeper.
Yeah.
And it's like, where do you start? Because not every self-employed person has an accountant. Some of them are doing it themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
So, of course, you've then got to potentially do that in your work time. So you're losing money anyway. Whereas, obviously, we can take it over and go, you carry on doing what you're good at and we'll take them on for you.
So it's not just the legalities of your tax; it's everything, isn't it? So it's things like fire risk assessments. It's the paperwork behind it, isn't it, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we
remember this isn't B&I. You can say what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Daisy. I mean, it's basically anything to do with business. So all the generics of business. So whether it's health and safety, because obviously that's changed so much. You've got the helpline that you can seek advice and support. Whether you want the consultancy side of it, we can do that as well. But obviously that's a paid for service. So lots of people join because they want the free element of it, just to know that they've got a port of contact, I suppose, to call up and ask stuff.
I'm a member. You're a member, Rachel, aren't you? How does it benefit for you?
It
benefits you because you get me to do it, don't you?
I get my emails and I read through my emails, and anything that I need, I sort of put to one side and say, I'll come back to that.
Have you been back to it yet?
Not yet. But then that's what you do.
I think it's good for templates.
Yeah.
You want a template of something like a risk assessment, method statement, that type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, or even just your contracts. Especially for startups, because I suppose the frustrating thing for me is when people are starting their businesses, they don't budget, and although the cost of membership is so low, they don't budget for FSB membership. And yet they're spending out money on paying a solicitor for a contract, or they're taking the risk and downloading it off Google and this sort of thing. Whereas they get all of that for free with us. Yeah. And then they've got everything else as well.
People that haven't paid. I've got advice on that, which is good. The steps you take in sending them the email, and then you start getting a bit harder as it gets further up there.
Oh, I've done that before. Yeah, I've done that before, and I liked it because
that helped.
When you get it back and you're like, yes,
it's like a good cop, bad cop, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do you work quite closely with startup companies and startup businesses as well? Do you sort of link with them quite nicely, or is it sort of more of a independent thing and you'll...
Yeah, I suppose it's one of those things. What I do, so I'm self-employed and my official title is classed as a membership advisor.
Okay.
So I go out to businesses. They don't have to be startup. They can be existing, growing, doesn't matter where they are. Could have been going 40 odd years. It really makes no difference how long a business has been.
What's the membership? The amount of members, isn't it? It's a range. It's up to 200, did you say?
It was
remember.
0 employees up to 249.
Right.
Although they have just, I suppose, lightened the top cap now.
Oh,
So
have
you
they?
can actually join if you've got more than
Oh, right.
249. But I tend to find most people tend to be the smaller side because they don't have the internal HR.
Yep.
legals, all
Yeah.
of that. But I go out and speak to businesses like you guys to sort of say, okay, let's find out more about your business, where I can help, as in contacts or support that I know that's available from the councils and things. And then I'll pick out specifically the bits within membership that are relevant to you.
Right.
Because you get everything. There's
Yeah.
about 26 different areas that we can support you, but not everything's
might
going to
not
be
need
relevant
it.
to
Yeah,
you.
Go
yeah,
for
of
26.
Do you want to keep your podcast going? I'm monotone as it is. You really don't need me
What
waffling on
ones,
for longer than I
You,
need
you could
to.
have like 5 minutes later.
Yeah,
You're still
exactly.
reeling it off.
5 minutes. Right.
Exactly. You don't know me well enough, do you?
So, what ones stand out for you are beneficial in your experience of FSB?
most
I think I
obvious
just pulled my mic out then, but that's
Destroying
all right.
it.
Go on.
The most obvious ones that are relevant to everyone, legal advice.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's around the corner in business. So
Okay. What sort of legal advice? I'm really getting in there.
go for it. So contracts and trading.
Right.
Whether that's contracts of you doing business with other businesses, for example, and you just need a template to put
Terms
into
and
place.
conditions.
Terms and conditions, non-disclosure agreements. It could be if you're in the trades that you're working with subcontractors and you need subcontractor agreements, because quite often it's kind of a gentleman's handshake still, isn't it? in
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but
Until it goes wrong.
yeah, until it goes wrong and they literally are stealing your business and you're kind of screaming and shouting at them. Nothing you can do because you haven't got anything in writing. You haven't said that they can't go and do that.
Yes, that's very true.
And the employment side, because obviously employees can be the best part of any business. They can also be the worst.
Yeah.
And all you need is one bad egg that it
Yep.
can literally,
Destroy the whole company.
yeah, definitely. So personally, legals all
Bad
the way
egg.
because, yeah,
Point at me.
I don't know why. The best bit of this business.
Thanks, mate.
Got to keep
Looking
it
up.
sweet. I
Yeah.
love referrals.
Yeah. She knows I'm the one that's got to
There
renew
was a-
him soon, I imagine. I don't know when that's due, actually.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, it doesn't really impact
She soon
me.
come knocking on my door. How are you, Simon? It must be
Your membership
renewal.
lapsed. Do you want to renew? I obviously would not want you to let it lapse. It makes no difference to me, really. But obviously, you're not protected.
If I did let it lapse and then some shit turned up, would you guys say, no, you can't do it now? Like if I joined again and then started...
It would
the ball
all
roll.
depend. If the shit had hit the fan already,
Yeah.
you could use the legal helpline.
Okay.
But the protections wouldn't be in place.
Oh, I
Because
see.
it's like crashing your car and then trying to insure it,
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm about,
So- Yeah, it'd be one of those that it would depend on the situation itself.
Okay,
But the legal helpline's there for whatever, whether it's
perfect.
something that's already going on or not.
So what got you into this wonderful world of FS? What led you to this?
So it's one of those things. I didn't plan to do it. I was always employed.
Because you don't hear that at school, do you? You don't have the
No.
careers advisor say, what do you want to do? And they say, and the kid goes, oh, I'd love to be an FSB representative.
Yeah, exactly. But then, to be honest, most of my career, people never grow up wanting to be. I've been a estate agent, recruitment
An
consultant,
accountant,
all
or-
those things that people, you generally kind
what'd
of
you
say
start
quietly.
as?
A beauty therapist.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you got for us? So did you do all the training and everything?
I did the 2 years at Thanet College. I did my work experience up on Buckingham Palace Road.
Oh, right, okay.
But I did it for a year and a half. And although I'm girly in some ways, always do my makeup, my hair, all of that sort of thing, I'm not a girly girl in
Right.
other ways. And just listening to people's problems. I'm not heavy-handed, but I'm quite firm, I suppose.
Yeah,
And yeah, you just had to be too
yeah.
nice.
Asking about holidays.
Yeah, and-
oh.
Like, how are you? I would forget the basics. I'd just go straight in for, right, what we doing today, that sort of thing. And you just go, I didn't have the small talk. And yes, I've matured a bit.
So you say Thanet, where were you from then originally?
Walderslade. Well,
right.
born Bexley Heath, lived Erith, and then moved to Walderslade.
Why every guest we have lived sort of Bexley Heath and Erith originally? Everyone.
Because they're all migrating down.
They are, yeah. It's like an invasion, isn't it? It's like a 30-year invasion.
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So
you did that beauty and you lasted, a couple of years?
Year and a half.
Right, so you fully trained and then gave it up afterwards?
Yeah, basically. So my mum probably loved me, all the cost of putting me through college, but yeah, no, left that.
I look at it as you have to try these things before you get into a serious career and, stuff that you're going to get a mortgage for and everything like that. You've got to try these things out, otherwise you won't know.
Well, I think I was earning 130 quid a week. There was no way I was getting a mortgage on that. So.
So you did that for a year and a half. Then what enticed you after that?
Well, I worked in Domino's Pizza on and off for a long time. So I did it when I was going through college. Yeah. So I literally, the day I left beauty therapy, I went back going, I need a job. And ended up being assistant manager at Domino's in Bromley.
Right.
Personally, it was probably one of the best jobs I ever had because it was a laugh. Obviously, it could be strstressful.
Did you get free grub as well?
You got free grub. And I am led by my stomach after all. So used to get, I think I've told you this story before, you used to get a little 6-inch pizza for every shift you did.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's right, one of the kids' ones.
It's like the garlic bread.
But surely they wouldn't care if it was bigger than 6 inch, would they?
Well,
you'd slightly get a bigger one than that, couldn't you?
Well, if a pizza was made wrong, you could eat those things. So, but if you wanted your specific toppings, you got your 6-inch. And I decided if I had a 6-inch pizza every time I worked, I'd go off pizza.
Right.
I just got fat.
Yeah,
I just got fat.
You never went off it, did you?
No, I've never gone off it. I started when I was 16 and now old and still love Domino's.
I was going to say, do you still sort of go, can I have one of the pizza?
Yeah, and I still order it like I work there as if like, can I have a barbecue pizza? And I'm like, what's that? Well, barbecue sauce, extra cheese.
Right.
I still know exactly what they are, but they're not even on the menu anymore. So I now have to create my own. So.
Right. So from there to what? Estate agent? Or?
What did I do? I went and managed a sunbed shop in Downham for a while, and we were going to set up like a little beauty room out the back. Okay. The beauty room never got going, probably because my heart obviously wasn't in it. You didn't want to do the beauty, yeah. No, exactly. So I then went and worked in teletext travel. So, like you used to go on teletext and you'd see the holidays. Yeah. So I was on the call centre bit of that. That went bust, and literally I was on my day off and I got the call to basically say, you've been made redundant.
Really?
I thought they were taking the piss, basically. I thought they were joking. But TV Travel Shop was upstairs. Right. So you used to have the programme.
Yes, I remember now, yeah. I remember having my birthday announced on teletext. Oh. My mum used to ring up and we used to sit there waiting for it to roll round. The pages used to roll round, didn't it? We're sitting there. Happy birthday, Simon. Hey! Yeah. After school.
You couldn't even record it back then, really, could you?
No. Crap.
Yeah. I know everybody else that was called Simon thought it was for them.
Yeah.
Did you ever experience teletext, Rachel?
Only a little bit, but I didn't know you could write into it and say.
You could.
Well, so it would just come up as a whole page or just a little bit at the bottom? Or?
It's just like a rolling page, but, really bad graphics.
It's like the old newspapers that you used to scroll through. You can go to the library and scroll through the newspapers, can't you? No?
No, nothing like that. You're on about what's that called? Micro.
Like the film.
Where you get the old microfilm. Is it microfilm?
Yeah.
It's like the slide.
You go into a library.
She lost me when she said she went to the library.
I don't do pizza in the library.
No, exactly.
You're not allowed to eat in the library.
Yeah, you're on about when you go in the archives and it's got old newspapers from you.
And they're on slides.
Yeah, but teletext is on the TV.
Yeah, I know that. I'm not that stupid, but you've got the slides.
I beg to differ.
And you can go through the pages and you can skip to the page that you want.
No, you couldn't skip. It was just based on...
You just had to wait for it to go around, didn't you, I think?
Analog signal coming through your TV.
Why?
That's all there was, Rachel.
That was clever at the time.
I sat for 3 days waiting for Channel 4 to start. Yeah. That's nothing. Watching that turning over was nothing.
Yeah.
And the little clown, the girl with the clown before. I was
going to say, do you remember
or
whatever?
And if you stayed up long enough, you get National Anthem.
Really?
Did you know that? Remember that?
Yeah, I think so. If you fall asleep on the settee,
like the next
National
day.
Anthem, then it'll turn off until the morning.
Oh.
Wouldn't go all night.
Oh, right, okay.
She's such a youngster.
I know.
We were watching Top Gun the other day. Top Gun 2 in the cinema. And we're just about to settle down. I said, I'm looking forward to this. It's been a while since the other one. She went, I wasn't born on the other one.
Wow.
I just turned to her and went, fuck off, Rachel.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you shouldn't date someone so young then.
Sick of her. Anyway.
Exactly. He's just jealous.
Yeah.
So am I.
Right, where were we?
Yeah, where did
Where
I
have we
go?
got
So,
to?
yeah,
We've got
Domino's.
Domino's.
Teletext, then TV travel shop.
Yeah. What's this the space
just
of a
went
year?
up?
What's this the space of? How long were you doing
Oh
these?
no, yeah, good few years. Most jobs I seem to last at 4 years for some reason.
Oh, right. So, when you went back to Domino's, was you there for 4 years?
Well, I was on and off at Domino's for 11 years.
Jeez,
Yeah.
really?
'Cause even-
I reckon you can get a job back there now if you wanted to.
I'd walk in like I knew what I was doing. I feel like it anyway. So
But you did the management side of it then.
yeah, I was making.
Yeah.
I've done every bit. I've made the pizzas. I've sent them out with the delivery drivers. Even a delivery driver got knocked off my bike and everything.
Really? Oh.
Right outside Bromley Police Station, and a police officer just happened to be looking out the window at the time. It's 2:00 in the morning, so he was obviously working hard, just staring out the window. Bam!
Oh, there's some blonde on the floor out there. I'll go and have a look.
Exactly.
Where's my pizza though?
Yeah.
It was his pizza, yeah.
Exactly. I was on my way home, so
Riley, who's our assistant here every now and then, he works at McDonald's every now and then on shift. I don't know what he does, part-time. And there's a woman there that's celebrating her 40th year, he said. And they all they all turned up with 80s gear on. McDonald's for 40 years.
yeah. But I think sometimes you just get into a hat. It's what you know, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some people like just
Burgers.
burgers, McDonald's, or
Yeah.
pizza. But yeah, it's just one of those. Sometimes it's better the devil you know. But
So you've just sort of gone from one job to another, sort of.
yeah, but I've
Any more
always
training for other jobs? or
I've
did you
changed
just-
totally every time. So I did from travel, I went into being an estate agent.
Yeah.
So I worked in Beckenham and Bromley.
Okay. Working for who? Which
Your
one?
move.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
But it was always one of those. You could change and go and work for another one. But as far as I was concerned, I always worked for the best one anyway. So every time I changed jobs,
Yeah.
it was a total career change. So I had to learn everything from scratch.
Because your move, was that like, what was that originally? That was originally something
Right,
else.
something? Right
No,
now?
Right Move's a different one.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
But your move was something like, I can't remember now. Like a bank, wasn't it?
I've got no idea. Oh, it's Aviva,
Oh,
the
was
insurance
it?
company
Yeah.
own it. But yeah, it's one of those. It was just there when I went and got it.
Right, okay.
And then when I was working in Beckenham,
Got any dodgy stories from that? Because I've heard some dodgy stories when it comes to selling houses.
I don't know if I have. I think
I
it's
heard,
quite
I heard
boring.
stories about there used to be an estate agent that kept going back to the same house once. When they investigated, he was meeting a
moved in.
geezer in there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and doing stuff there.
Ooh. Name and shame.
know this stuff.
I've lived a long life, Rachel.
Have you ever worked as a estate agent?
No,
Yeah.
it's me. Yeah.
That he was meeting.
yeah.
Right, so we've got no juicy stories.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to spice your podcast up. Really,
I know
Rach.
exactly. It's trying to make it be interesting. I'm not very interesting. Trust me.
You are.
No.
You
So
are.
there was-
you obviously had to have a good sales pitch to sell houses, didn't you, to people?
In theory, I think it's one of those. As long as you, at the end of the day, something like that, it costs a lot of money, doesn't it? A house. Personally, you don't have to sell it. The house will sell itself.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
yeah.
I never turned up with my shiny suit, your flash car, and all of that because you just think that's not going to sell the house, is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
No,
Just
just show them the house.
show them the house, answer their
If
questions.
it's full of rubbish, try and show them the potential.
Exactly.
With it not being, because
Picture it
when we
empty.
bought our house, it was a dump, right?
Yeah.
It was lived in by an old lady. It had not been lived in for 2 years, and it was like still original kitchen, everything like that. She couldn't see past that. Well, I
Yeah.
could see past it,
Oh my god.
and that's what you've got to do, innit, as an estate agent. In a
Yeah,
way.
which is mad because I can't see past things. Either. I like everything done properly that I've got to go and do it myself.
well, that's why
Yeah.
you're not here advertising the fact you're an estate agent.
I did really well. Yeah, I think I sold 1 month. I sold over 30 proproperties.
Blimey.
Wow.
I mean,
That's like a
admittedly-
property a
So do you
day.
get commission
Yeah.
for that?
Yeah.
Properties? So in theory, like you say, the house sells itself. So how do you get the...
Well, it's not that you've got to negotiate it because just because they want to buy it
Yeah, it
doesn't mean they're
they
going to
want
offer the
buy it
right.
for off price.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
so you've got to do all that negotiating and then make it go through because obviously you've got the chain involved and all of that side of things. So yeah, it was trying to make sure it didn't fall apart. I had one lady, bless her, she was selling her house. It turned out she had asbestos, which we didn't know. So it had fallen through twice already. I then sold it, and literally on the day of exchange, they found, or the buyer came back to say there's been asbestos found in the airing cupboard. So I was just pulling out, and just like, well, she'll pay for it to be removed. She'll get it sorted. But she was crying, I was crying, because when you're just like, the poor woman has gone through this twice already.
All these months, and then she
the
got
money
something.
involved, exactly. You found another property, and you're just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this. It's just ridiculous. But I happened to be sitting there, and then I got headhunted because there was a recruitment company just around the corner, and apparently every time they walked past, I was on the phone. I'm not sure whether that was a good or bad thing, because I don't know who I was on the phone to, but
it was actually, she was a call girl. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Part-time call girl.
What are you wearing?
Said you wouldn't say.
Do you like barbecue pizza? Rub it all over.
I'm trying to think. My brain's just going, no, I can't say any of that. But yeah, then went into recruitment. So recruited ex and retired police officers for about 9 years, putting them back into the police force.
Right.
Totally different again.
Yeah.
Right.
So you do like a little bit of a challenge then when it comes to work?
I'd like to say I'm probably, a jack of all trades, master of none, because I've done lots of different industries and I know my stuff in that particular bit, but it's not necessarily always detailed.
So can you see yourself doing FSB for a long time? Or
I've been doing it 5 years
do something
now.
Completely different, like, I don't know, badger baiting. I don't know.
I'd love to have like a dog walking, dog rescue,
love
do
your
all of
dog
that.
stuff,
Love
yeah.
my dogs.
Right.
But I don't know if there's necessarily great money in that, is there? But at the same time,
There's more dog grooming than anything.
Yeah, which none of my dogs need grooming, so I've never done that before. So I'd have to, I'd really have to
Learn
start
again
from
then.
How many
scratch.
dogs you
wouldn't I?
got?
2.
Right, and what are they?
I've got a little Frenchie
Right.
called Bella, and Ruby the Puggle,
All right.
so Pug Beagle, both rescues. Ruby we got when she was 6 months. Sorry, she is an nutter. I always say they're like me and my partner, because my partner's just full on all the time, and that is Ruby, just bouncing off walls. And then you've got Bella, who's really kind of just quite
Subdued
laid back, loves sleeping, eating,
Oh, it sounds like
pizza, just like me. So.
You were on about me though,
Yeah,
weren't you?
yeah.
She wasn't offending you then.
It sounds like eating,
I was gonna say,
sleeping.
It's like you, you lazy mare.
Thanks. But yeah, you're not wrong.
Oh,
okay.
bless.
Yeah, so they are literally, they say your pets are like the owners, and ours really are. Because the quiet dog likes Chris better, and the lively one, Ruby, likes me better.
Funny, isn't it?
It's kind of like we balance
Opposites
each other.
attract type thing.
Yeah.
Wicked.
But at least we've got a dog each, so we don't get jealous when one's getting cuddles and the other isn't, because it's always the other one. So.
I've never been like that with dogs. And, honestly,
I'm
I grew up
obsessed.
with having dogs like in the house. I remember sitting in the 80s, sitting in a basket when the dog had puppies and smothered by puppies. But after that, I think I was just too busy and I couldn't really keep them at
Look
home.
after
I didn't like the
yeah.
idea of them just sitting at home waiting for me to come home. You know, that was. So
Yeah.
I've not really had dogs since. But my eldest son is obsessed
Yeah.
with them.
Well, I don't have kids. They are my babies.
Well, that's the thing. And my sister does. My youngest sister don't have kids, so she's got dogs instead.
Yeah.
Or dog instead. So yeah, I suppose it's a sort of a replacement. My eldest son's 30. He doesn't have kids. But,
Yeah. I'm one of them annoying people, though, that walks down the street. You know, if you see a cat or a dog or even a robin, I've got to talk to it. Literally, like even walking the dog and the robin, I'm like, hello. Little
Start
Robin
stroking
Redwest. Or someone's dog, and you're just like, can I touch? Can I touch?
We got chickens, didn't we? Well, we had.
We did have
We've got
chickens.
we had a bad story of chickens.
It's
Got
actually
done by
they get eaten.
foxes. Got done by foxes. I went to Toronto, came back, and I thought, before these come home, I'm going to get them 8 chickens. I went and bought 8 chickens last night. Right.
Yeah.
I literally flew back home, went out, got the chickens, came back this morning, had them.
Oh, wow.
Bit through the wire fence and got them all. I
Because
didn't.
he
Even,
surrounded
I
the
lasted
whole
14
thing.
hours. I'm like the worst chicken owner ever.
Yeah.
surrounded the whole thing, went round, like tying all the cables up, making sure it was completely fox-proof. And, it's obviously knew that we had chickens there in the past. It came down, was watching them, and literally sort of clawed its way through and got inside.
Woke up this morning, just load of feathers, no chickens. The only saving,
love you, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah. The only saving grace. Oh, I've gone all a bit husky. The only saving grace is it didn't leave them this time. Last time, it did
it for fun,
murdered
didn't
them. Just murdered them and left them there. This time, it may have used them for its family. Because there was no trace of any of them.
Puppy time.
Puppy time.
See, dogs.
Is it puppy time? Everyone's going to start tuning into the YouTube now. Yeah. All right, guys, it's puppy time.
I'm even blushing. God. Okay.
I had to remind myself why I enjoy doing this podcast. And it's for moments like puppy time.
I don't think I've even used that one before.
Well, there's no time like the present, mate.
So what, when the sign is done,
when the sign falls off, we're going to kick off.
Puppy time.
It's then puppy time. We will have to celebrate party poppers. Puppies come out.
Why is there a guy though? That's very sexist of you.
I'm not going to say pain this time.
Yeah. Come up with another one.
6-pack time. I'm like,
oh dear.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, back to business.
Where were we?
So you've been there 5 years, you said. Is that right?
Yeah, 5 years in September.
And you obviously enjoy it.
Yeah.
What sort of challenges do you come against then? Because obviously a lot of small businesses in the UK do have challenges. Have you ever sort of come across one and thought, God, we really need to concentrate on this, or we need to help this company out a little bit more? Or
it's one of every single business, even if they won't admit it or won't admit it to me, will have some kind of challenge. I suppose the biggest one for me that I can't really overcome is funding. Although we've got the funding platform so we can help out with business loans and stuff, most people don't really want the loan, they want a grant.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pay it back. And every council area is different, what government's offering, it's always different. So, and it doesn't mean that they actually qualify for it. So that's always really hard. I get it all the time. And I literally went into one member recently, literally yesterday. I won't say where they are just in case they happen to listen, that their landlord's putting up their rent.
Right.
So it's going up from 26 grand a year to 46. So it's not a little increase.
So it's not $5,000, or, something that they can handle. It is. No. That is massive.
It's still going to collapse if this keeps happening.
Yeah. So it's one of those sorts of things you feel really bad because you're just like, I don't even know how I can help you. No. So I can tell you to call the legal helpline just in case legally they can't do it, because I'd never claim to be a solicitor or know that sort of thing. I can say FSB can get involved because sometimes we can get involved with the landlords to say, look, it's being unrealistic. It's better to have a good tenant than not.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if the landlord can legally do it and they want to, down to them, isn't it?
Just to relocate.
Excuse me.
You can't tell us the business they're in, can you? She's going again.
Excuse me.
That's right. You can't tell us the business they're in either, because would it be easy for them to relocate? Oh, it's a cafe.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So it's not as if just an office that you just up and move somewhere. But
do you have people in your team that are dedicated to legal stuff, or if someone said, right, I've got this problem, I really need, or I think I need legal advice or this, you could say, okay, we would suggest this, this, and this, and then would you pass them on to someone in your team that knows a bit more about it?
So with membership, so we've got. Currently, it went up to about 200,000, but we've got about 150,000 members. All of the benefits are provided by external organisations, so normally corporates, but not always, because they can afford to give you free stuff, but also discounts on services. So, for example, if someone calls me and says, I've got an issue with an employee, it's all right, don't worry, here's the number you need. I'll give them your membership number if they haven't got it to hand, and then they'll call through to the legal helpline, tell them what they want to talk about, and within an hour, the right type of solicitor calls them back. So whether it is a commercial solicitor, employment, tax and VAT, you name it, they'll call them back, and it's unlimited. So they just use it as much as they need to.
Oh, wow.
So it can be really simple that you know the answer, but if you are wrong, it's going to cost you money. But you don't want to pay a solicitor to turn around and go, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's £200 bill for you or whatever. Because they ain't cheap, are they? But it's obviously the other end of it as well.
And
that
they can
someone's
represent
coming
you
in.
and all. That's a part of FSB as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So you get legal protection because obviously there's so many exclusions in insurance policies that there's lots of different protection in there. So there's obviously T's and C's to it as well. But I think I'd used it as one of my examples the other day on a networking event that we had a business owner that called up about an employee that was causing issues, called up, sought advice, they followed it, employee didn't improve, they called the legal helpline again. Obviously, they basically decided, look, best bet is you need to actually get rid of this employee. So they managed them out of the business. The employee took objection to that and decided, I'm going to take you to tribunal. They went to court. Because the business owner had called us, followed all the advice that we'd given, we basically said, he's got employment protection within his membership. We covered him. So he just carried on working. We went to court, defended. He lost, which is ridiculous because they hadn't done anything wrong. But that's the thing with employment at the minute. Quite often it does side with the employee. And the judge on that day sided with the employee, awarded them 20k and obviously costs as well. So it totaled about £30,000. We paid it. So most small businesses wouldn't survive with that sort of bill. But because he'd been a member for over 180 days and he'd followed the advice, and that's always the critical thing. Follow the advice, then we'll protect you. Yeah. But if you decide that you know better and go off and do something and then they take you to court, then obviously it's like null and voided your insurance, haven't you? So,
absolutely.
But literally, it doesn't matter. It can be something really minor that you just need to know what to do, or you don't know what you don't know, all of that sort of thing. So, you just...
So, obviously, when things like COVID or things happen in the economy, small businesses get affected. Do you have anything in place to help these businesses now? Like the pandemic, there was a massive... it basically caused catastrophe over small businesses. Yeah. Small businesses were closing left, right and centre. Is there anything you now have in place that you learnt from COVID that you've put in place now?
It's one of those awkward things because I suppose you're always learning. So during the pandemic, we managed to get some of the funding from the various councils. So it was government funding, really, that we could give away free memberships. Obviously, at the time, it seemed like a great idea. But the problem is when you give even small business owners something for free, they don't value it. So many of them would take the free membership and wouldn't use it. And now they look at it and go, well, I didn't need it. Yeah. You're like, you didn't even know what was involved. You didn't even log on to the portal to do that sort of thing. So now when we get those sorts of opportunities, we ask the small business owner just to contribute a little bit if the council or whoever's paying for it. But we did a lot of things. So like insurance, a lot of the insurance companies weren't paying out because we've got FSB insurance services. We did a lot of webinars and we were the ones also that lobbied, I want to say government, but obviously I'm not the in-depth person for this part of it, but whoever it was that they needed to, because the wording in some of the insurance policies. So we were the ones that took it to court and won. So some people got paid out that initially hadn't, but obviously some people, the wording in their insurance policies said, yeah, you can't, basically.
I see.
So obviously it flags up that sort of thing for future stuff. But then we also look at some of the benefits to say, okay, how else can we help small businesses? So sometimes it's not actually about helping the business, it's about helping you. Because as business owners, you're so focused on running a business and I've got to be in it all the time that even when you're ill, you carry on working. So we've got various different benefits now to help with that so that you've always got something to support you. But it's one of those, we can't run someone's business for them.
And like you said previously, everything is changing so quickly nowadays as well, with policies and updates and everything like that. How do you stay current in all of that then? How do you make sure that you are relevant in the market as such?
One, members feed it back to us.
Okay.
So they'll tell us, we'll always ask what's missing so that we can try and help there. But for example, if you take legislation and stuff, you've got access to solicitors and that's what they do. Okay. They've got they're so niche, aren't they, that whether it's commercial, they are up to date on what you need to be doing within a commercial contract. So when it changes, they'll change it.
Will they update you then when there is a change, or will they just sort of just let you know briefly, like just to make you aware this is happening?
It's a bit of both. So they've got the legal hub where you've actually got access to about 1,500 documents. So they'll go in and update any sort
their
of
bit of that.
Yeah, they'll go and update it. So if you need, I don't know, a contract, B2B type stuff, You go in, you download it. You know at that point of download, it is current. It's up to date. But we'll send out a monthly email as well to say,
This has changed,
these
that's
legislations changes. And you'll just scan through it and go, haven't got any employees, so I'm going to ignore that bit. Or health and safety. Oh, actually, need to update myself. Let's have a little look. Again, not relevant, or it is. I'm going to go into more detail and it will link through so that you can make sure that you're up to date on it. But then you can also call the legal helpline just to sort of say, I haven't read my email. What do I need to know? And then they can tell you what you should be doing in your specific business.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay.
it's one of those. It's trying to make it interesting, isn't it? It's really hard when you have to talk about the boring bits of business that none of us want to do, but we've got to.
Well, unfortunately, some things that aren't interested in business have to be dealt with.
Yeah.
You know, need you for these sort of things. So imagine you've got this guy. I don't know. He's got a business, a milkman or something. I don't know. I don't know why I chose
Pick a real random one.
A guy that's been in business for 4 years. He's going along fine. Say he's a roofer, right? Let's say he's a roofer. He's been going along fine for 4 years. And you approach him about FSB and he's like, why do I need that? I've had no trouble so far, which is what they all say.
Yeah.
What do you say to sort of convince this guy? What do you think would benefit most people?
So like a sales pitch almost.
Yeah, it gives you sales pitch.
Because I try not to be salesy with it. Because there are obviously equivalents of me and some of them are really pushy.
Right.
I am very laid back with it. If you don't want to join, don't join. My only ask is, when you're ready, just come back to me. Don't do it online. Don't do it with anybody else. Just come back to me because I haven't pushed you. I haven't sold to you. But what I'll do is I'll understand their business. So even if it's looking back at things that have gone wrong, and FSB is not just about things that have gone wrong. It might be, okay, nothing's gone wrong. That's fine. Let's see how I can save you money. So a roofer, I'd be looking going, actually, we've got a new benefit where you can actually make 1% cash back on all your business spend.
Right.
Well, you can make up to 12 grand a year. Admittedly, you've got to spend 1.2 million to get 12 grand a year. But trades type people can
materials
do that. So I'll look at the different things. So it might be that actually they want to do that, or they talk about something that their friend's gone through, and you're like, okay, well, how are you going to deal with that if that happens to you? And
what have you got in place to prevent that?
Exactly. How did they deal with it? Well, it cost them a fortune, or they claimed on their insurance or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, what about yourself? What are you going to do?
Can you help with employment if they're looking for someone? I don't know.
We don't recruit, but we can provide them all the documents. So we can give them the advice on what they need to do from a HR and legal perspective. Yeah. We can give them all the documents that they need, which can save them a lot of money. We can give them the employment protection, although it doesn't kick in straight away from being a member. It doesn't kick in for the first 180 days because people abused it during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
So they basically
signed up and then...
Yeah, they sacked people, then thought, they're going to take me to court here. Join FSB, and we had to cover them.
I must be past 180 days now, am I?
Yeah, definitely.
Am I?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So you can
get rid of you, Rach.
Exactly. But she's a member as well, so she can call up.
We can fight it out.
Exactly. There might be a bit of conflict of interest, but
do divorces as well.
We don't, but we get it. We get the calls a lot because obviously you get so many business owners that are married.
Right.
And obviously, if they're going through rocky times, or obviously
you know why though? Because some even house insurances provide that sort of cover, don't they, for the craziest of things? So they assume that you may as well. I suppose personal legal advice.
Yeah,
but it's not personal legal advice. It's just business advice.
It's business, but if there's an element of personal in all business, isn't there?
Yeah,
so certain things we can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've used the legal helpline enough times. And it's always personal. If I've put a business spin on it, I'm going to answer the question.
What's it about nearest Papa John's or something?
It's about a builder that I've been using. I just want to know legally what I'm allowed to do.
Right, fair enough. Yeah,
I won't name and shame. Well, not yet.
Fair enough. Okay.
So have you had any sort of big success stories from people that have used you and you thought, actually, I'm really proud. It's gone really well. The business has come out the other side, or anything like that.
Anyone contact you and say, thank you so much for letting us join, or talking me into joining. I wasn't going to join.
It's one of those. I quite often, once I've joined somebody up, you don't necessarily hear from them because it's such an easy portal and system to use.
But some people go through you when they don't have to go through you, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Some people do call me and go, I don't know, I've got an invoice that's not been paid, and they clearly
me.
clearly haven't logged on. And you go, it's all right, Simon, here's the number, here's what you need to do.
Right. She's my personal assistant.
Can you
when
download
feel
it for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't say, can you download it for
No,
me? Should have.
Something you should.
You fill it in,
Sounds
no.
like you.
And would you download it for them if they asked?
Probably, yeah. I try to be helpful. Everybody thinks they're going to call me a lot more than they do because they're like, I'll be on the phone all the time, and they're not.
No.
Because it is, once you've got the legal helpline number, you've normally stored it in your phone, but the app itself, you don't even have to log on.
No.
You just open the app and go, call legal advisor, and you even flip the card and it gives you your membership number. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say big stories. I think quite often it's always nice when you hear that someone's got an unpaid invoice and they've called you and you've kind of given them the helpline. I had it with a catering business recently, and it was only a couple of grand. I say only, a couple of grand's a lot of money when it's your money. And literally she spoke to them, she got the template, sent it, and within 24 hours she was back on the phone and went, they paid. It was just like, she went, now I get why I'm a member.
Yeah.
It's like, good, I'm glad you do.
Because people take it for granted, I think, don't they? I think they sign up and they say, why am I going to do it? Yeah. Until they actually need you, until they actually use your services, they think, oh, okay. But when they do, they are so grateful for you. They can thank you enough because you've saved them, you've got them payment, you've had the invoices paid and everything like that. You've had the legal advice. So people don't, I would say they would take you for granted.
But it's like any sort of insurance, isn't it? You get annoyed with paying that few £100, but it could save you thousands of pounds. I've just come back from Toronto with my son. He said, I ain't got any holiday insurance. I went, you what? He said, I've got no holiday insurance. I said, what if something happens to me? He went, I'll never get hurt on holiday. Oh, what are you on about?
Exactly.
But
this is what I can see. I can see him then going on holiday, hurting himself and going, Dad, I'm in hospital.
Can you pay?
I can't afford this. Can you pay? I'm like, I ain't losing my pension because you were an idiot. I said, now I've given you advice, don't ever go on holiday without any insurance.
Absolutely.
You ring me, it's tough. I ain't doing it.
The thing is, it doesn't just cover you, because that's like people say, oh, I'm not going to get hurt on holiday. It doesn't just cover that. It covers delayed flights, cancellation of flights, you know, every single thing that from the moment you leave your house to the moment you come back from your house is your holiday. You can claim anything there. Lost luggage, anything like that.
I always get ill on holiday. So I always have travel insurance. I think when you work so hard and then you go away, you relax, your body kind of goes, woohoo!
Yeah.
And I just get ill.
Well, he was rough. He had started having a dodgy throat and stuff. While saying I don't get ill on holiday.
I think I even went to a hotel and they had this massive gate, and obviously we'd been out drinking all day, and you know when you're getting a bit leery, and we were just mucking about, and I pulled this great big gate and it literally went over the top of my foot and took my toenail with it. And obviously because I was a bit drunk, it hurt.
But you don't.
But
really
I was
think
just
about
like,
it.
No.
It's not stopping me drinking.
Not going to
Carrying on. And it wasn't until I was literally laying around the pool on the sun lounger, and you're just looking at it going, that don't look quite so good, does it? But you're just like, no, I never go away without insurance because I'm the one with the drip stuck on the hotel wall, toenail hanging off.
Because I had, we went to Canada a few years ago and I broke my arm literally before we went. So I even had to phone my insurance up and say, just to let you know, I'm going away for this day, but I do have a broken arm. I did it in this country. I'm not going to claim anything, but just to let you know, in my policy, it might change. But it's not going to be for my entire policy. It's just for this one holiday. And they're like, okay, thank you for letting us know. Please let us know if there is anything, because you won't be covered for anything that happens to your arm, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. That's
nice and easy.
But you have to do it, because if something does happen, you know, this is all covered, but this isn't, you know?
Exactly.
So,
do you like the top I got? I support the Blue Jays, right?
Ooh. Blue Jays.
I saw it.
It says one BJ is always better than 9 Yanks.
Do you know what? I hadn't even noticed. That just shows how observant
She dropped her kid off to school wearing that. She just realised she got out of the car and had to put a jacket on.
So I can't go on the playground with this. Okay, what does that mean?
I suppose it's one of those you actually would have to stare to read it.
Yeah.
So luckily.
Yeah, but it's just the BJ's a bit big though, isn't it? That's how I suppose.
Blue Jays.
Yeah, I know it is, but the fact is that no one knows about baseball in this country as well. They probably immediately think BJ. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct.
All the time.
Yeah.
Simon's brain goes straight there.
Yes, exactly.
Right, brilliant. Anything else we need to talk about, Rach?
So where do you plan on going sort of with the business in a few years' time? Where does it evolve as such?
Well, it's for me, because I'm self-employed, I could have subcontractors, but I think one of the reasons why I'm now is I'm a shit manager. I'm
Right.
literally, it's why I'm not employed anymore, because when you're good at sales, you get promoted. And I was always promoted into management, but I'm a dictator. I'm not a leader, and unfortunately, nowadays you need leaders, not dictators. So yeah, I don't think necessarily having subcontractors or people working for me are best. So it's one of those that I'm quite happy how it's going, because I've got the flexibility. I can come and do this if I want to. Go out networking. That's where most of my business tends to come from.
That's the other benefit from it. I've networked through FSB. Yeah,
I haven't seen you on it.
I make sure you're not there when I
not
do
one
it.
of my ones.
I've been to Ebbsfleet and done it face to face at Ebbsfleet
Mhm.
before. Yeah.
So luckily you remember, because if you go to any networking where I'm not, don't join with any other membership advisor. You have to speak to me.
Right. Okay.
So just say, no, I've heard of Rachel and I'm going to join with her.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
But yeah, no, you've got networking, you've got masterclasses. We've done boot camps recently because FSB was 50. So we put on guest speakers in and had little stalls and all of this sort of thing.
What was in the boot camps? And
well, it was, I suppose, a big networking event. So I think we had about 200 people. And you had various different stalls. So there might be somebody that does HR or marketing, photography, all that sort of thing. And then guest speakers were more around the things that are happening in business. So obviously AI, how that's impacting, marketing and the difference between marketing and branding. Just things like the common type things that come up.
And you went, did you?
I did.
Was it good?
It was.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
It wasn't a trick question. You're like trying to trick her out.
No, was
I
it?
had lunch.
Did
I was
they? What was the food?
Pizza.
Lunch and
Did you eat?
breakfast. So I was like,
I enjoyed it. Yeah. Pizza.
They put on food, so I was all right.
Well, the signs lasted.
I know.
The whole time. I think that's probably only the second time it's done that
Yeah.
as well.
Well, I'm not surprised the amount of tape you put on it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to prove me wrong.
Well, I don't know what to say really, but I put the same amount of tape on, but double the thickness, so it's not.
Yeah, different angle.
Yeah. Thrilling, isn't it? This podcast, absolutely thrilling. Talking about a sign
tape.
falling off the wall, and it hasn't fallen off the wall, so we've got nothing else to talk about.
And let you down.
I'll let you know when it does. It'll be this afternoon. I'm not going to stand there waiting for it though.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Lovely having you on.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to give people details or anything like
No,
that?
well, I suppose yes. So if anybody is no, yeah,
Good night.
my Vicky Pollard impression. Yeah, but no. If anybody is interested in seeing how FSB membership would benefit their business, then please get in contact directly with me. Please don't do it on the website or go to FSB directly, because you don't get the personal.
She won't print them out for you if you go to
Exactly.
the
I'm not
website.
helping you. No, I'm not that harsh, but yeah, that's at the end of the day how I earn my money is by recruiting members directly. So
And how do they get hold of you directly then?
they can call me, and I wouldn't normally give my phone number out, but they can call me on 07979 504080. So a nice easy one.
Is that your personal number?
It's my business number. I'm on all the
She's got a
socials.
partner. She doesn't want to go down that route.
Yeah.
So I've only got your business number, have I? Bang out of order.
I'm on the socials, so literally you Google Rachel Barham FSB.
Oh, right,
I'll
okay.
normally pop up.
Have I spelled Barham right as well? Barham?
Yeah, that's it.
That's right then. I usually get the name wrong.
Yeah.
Rachel Barham,
Rachel Barham FSB.
and you'll find her.
Exactly. Connect with me on socials. I haven't quite caved to go on TikTok yet, but Instagram, Facebook.
TikTok's more of little videos though, so what are you going to do? Knock
No
out
one
some little
needs to see my
advice
face
videos?
on anything. So even when
wrong
I'm doing
with
all
that.
my promotion, if someone signs up, I try to get a photo of them and put it out on socials. Just do a little bit of promotion for them on my network.
Oh, so you could do that on TikTok for new members, couldn't you?
Yeah, but it's just another one to manage, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I know.
Oh,
Tell me about
You
it.
need someone to manage your social media.
Need
as
it. Yeah, oh
such.
yeah.
There should be someone out there
There
that
is.
does that.
There is.
yeah. You can get social media managers. The problem is I like mine being personal, and if I get someone to manage it, then it's not me, and I tend to write how I talk.
Yeah.
taken out the swearing. Although I think I've been really good today.
Yeah, I think you've only dropped one F.
Yeah,
and
and
that's
dropped
it.
one.
I've like professionalised your podcast, haven't I?
Some of them are bad. Some of them are really no swearing at all, aren't they? And then there's others.
Oh,
Well, you
fuck
get
it.
into a habit, don't you, when you're talking to
It's all
people,
about
of what you would say when you're working and what you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, it's all about the people you're chatting to. You know, we spoke to Danny Dye the other day, and you know, you can't get a conversation without him if you don't drop a few fucks in there.
Yeah, I saw that on
yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So,
So it's just the way it is. We adapt to different guests, don't we, Rach?
yeah.
So if you were going to have, I've got another question for you, sorry. So if you were going to have someone, like, let's say Simon says to one of his colleagues, you need FSB, blah, blah, blah. Do you sort of like, if he refers someone, almost like it's like a BNI thing, does he then get any sort of
No, do I?
well done, sort of,
Do I,
congratulations, sort of?
No
for
photo or
referring
anything.
someone?
No, it all depends. So sometimes if I remember to do this bit, because I keep forgetting that you've got it, on LinkedIn I might do a kudos thing to sort of say thank you. Obviously BNI is slightly different because we get the thank you for the businesses
thank you for the
internally.
business type thing,
But yeah, it's one of those that I obviously remember people that send me more referrals than others because of course they're helping me eat.
Yeah, it's true.
I think so.
Yeah.
So and then if I'll think about them when I've got
Did I
people
give you
asking.
Dan Coppin? Was that me?
I think so. I recognise the name. I can't think what business he is.
Roller Shutter Doors.
Yes,
Oh, that's all
Urban
right.
Rollers.
Urban Rollers, yeah.
Yeah, we signed up.
Oh, good.
So,
That's all right.
thank you.
Little plug for him there as well.
Dan's all right. Let's get Dan on, actually.
Yeah.
There'll be a few fucks there.
Exactly.
Get
Yes.
Dan on. He's
Yeah, I
one
need to
funny
get him round
bloke.
to do my garage, but I need to get the electrics
Right.
sorted first.
Yeah, he's a funny character.
Yeah, he's definitely a character. So, but yeah, a lot of the people you've had on here have
Yeah.
been members because obviously you two are members. Daisy, Kelly, Club Awesome.
Yeah. Grantley?
No, not yet, but he should be.
He's working.
By the way,
on that one.
Grantley, call me. the Giorgios,
Oh, right, yeah.
they are.
It's about the protection for your business. You've worked so hard for it. Why should you then let it be taken away
It's the
like
peace
that?
of mind. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And like you say, you're not an expert in everything, are you? That's the problem.
I went into a locksmith's once
Yeah.
and was talking to them and he just went, no, I don't know, I know. I said, well, what about this? He went, no, I know all about that. What about this? No. And I literally went, so you know everything. And you know, when I could find myself getting wound up because the arrogance.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you can't know everything. He was like, I've been going 10 years, I know it. Just like,
Okay.
you know what? I'll leave you to it.
You're
Enjoy
not
your day.
You're not my
Enjoy
cup of
your
tea. Yeah, I don't want to
Walk
work
out.
with you. Do you get the line of the oh, I know someone who does that, or I've got a friend that can do that, so I don't need you, that sort of thing as well?
I think the most awkward one is everybody assumes the accountants can do it. And I feel sorry for accountants because the amount of pressure small businesses go, when you've got an employee issue, who do you turn to? My accountant. So your accountant's a HR consultant, then, are they? Or an employment solicitor? Are they going to stand up in court for you? I don't know. Well, I can tell you now they're not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to disrespect their accountant because that's not what I'm doing. It's more the fact that's not what your accountant does.
Because I think I could have taken you to court loads of times. So that's why we just
Who,
Sexual
me?
harassment.
sexual harassment in the workplace.
Exactly.
Goodness. Bang out of order. But true.
Hence why we don't employ anyone else. Can you imagine him being the boss?
Oh my God! You're saying I'm going to sexually harass people online?
He saves it all for you.
Oh, great.
Just you, just my wife. You're the only person I'm going to sexually harass.
Please don't.
Not today.
That's a nice way to end your podcast, isn't it?
Anyway, on that note, I'll leave you two to it.
There is one more question I have actually. What got you into FSB? We didn't even ask that, did we? You just went, I was this,
from one,
and
yeah.
now I'm FSB.
Yeah, I think it was literally the last job I was selling savings, investments and protection products to the police, but I was the field manager.
Right.
And it was one of those that it was kind of a you leave or you'll get sacked.
Okay.
It was kind of a mutual agreement. I know I'm not a good manager.
Right.
Admittedly, I was that close to taking them to court because I don't think they could have just sacked me, but that's the risk you take, isn't it? So I was literally just looking for jobs, contacting my network, went onto LinkedIn and just saw self-employed membership advisor and thought, well, they were a not-for-profit that I was working for. These are not-for-profit. I like small businesses.
Yeah.
Sounds all right.
Oh, right. Okay.
If it's meant to be, it'll be. So I applied for it.
Yeah.
You kind of still went through as if you were applying for a job, but obviously you're managing your own business. But yeah, went for an interview. And that was it. The rest was history.
Nice.
So then,
Perfect.
enjoyed it.
Great.
Good.
You got any comments for Rachel? Just comment on the YouTube thing and we'll send them on to her. She can reply that way.
If I remember. No, I don't.
If she remembers.
I will.
If you want to comment quick, then the pizza delivery area that she wants, her address for pizza
Favourite
delivery.
pizzas.
Send a barbecue to Walterslade.
Exactly.
That's it. Thanks very much.
Thank you so
Cool,
much,
thank you.
Cheers.
Rachel.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. This podcast has been brought to you by Snug Dubs Camper Van Hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk.